All right, hello there, folks. Today we're going to turn this model that we've created into a set of drawings, and we're going to do what's called an assembly. So far we have made this light design. You don't have the LED, but I'm going to show you how to get one. We're going to go ahead and take the box we created, we'll take the light board we created, and we're going to put them together in an assembly. And then we're going to put them on a drawing. So let's go ahead by start by creating a drawing. Actually, yeah, create a drawing. And in that drawing, which you may have already created, we're going to go ahead and put some parts on there. So the first part we're going to put on is our light board. And we're going to do that full size. So up underneath the insert drawing option, navigate to our sign and choose our light board. And many of you already did this, but I'm going to put this full scale. Full scale is 1:1 scale. I'm going to put this full scale in the middle of the drawing. And this is going to be useful for our wiring diagram. We're going to draw on this by hand after we print this out. I'm going to escape out of this part because I don't want another view. And now this is ready to print. And we'll just go to a printer that's hooked up to print out of OnShape. We click on the 3 bars next to the document name, and you find the print settings up there. All right, so that's the first drawing we're going to need. The next drawing we're going to need is going to be one that shows all of our parts going together, and that one's going to take us a little more time. So we're going to go back to our Insert New Tab menu, which is the plus sign at the bottom left corner of the screen, and we'll create something called an assembly. We create an assembly that will allow us to bring in components that we've made elsewhere. So at the top of the menu, you'll see the insert button. And in here, you'll find all the things we've built so far in this document. And you can get the things out of other documents as well. I'll show you how to find that. But these are all the things under current document that we've recently created using our own document. So in here, we're going to grab, and we can grab individual parts like we just did with the drawing, or we can grab the entire part studio. So we'll grab, in this case, the entire part studio, and then hit the check mark to accept that. Now those parts come in and they're individually movable. So you can see this LED bulb is able to be moved around. I'm not going to do that with my other parts. If I do and I screw up, okay, whatever, delete it and reinsert it. So let's say I drag this over here and I didn't want to do that. So, oops, dang it, I screwed up. You know what? I'm just going to delete that. I selected everything, hit the delete key on the keyboard, and we'll go get the parts again. So we'll scroll on down to the P, in my case, and insert. Now this sign comprises of 2 parts, and I've got them exactly where I want them. So all I need to do is group them together so they become one thing. So I'm going to select them all, and up on the menu, tool menu, you'll see the word group. This allows to lock the position of the entities to each other. So when I click on that and check, now instead of the 2 parts being floating separately, they are now one. Once I've done that, and I could have done this before or after, one part needs to be fixed. So I'm going to right click on the outside of the box. I'm going to click the fix button, and that locks things so they can't move. Now you might be wondering why in the world I did that, since that looks very similar to my Part Studio. Here's the Part Studio. And in the Part Studio, I can orbit stuff, but this thing doesn't move. It's fixed. Its location doesn't change. So why in the if that's what I already had, why did I just recreate that? Well, the reason I want to recreate that is because there's other things I can do with this that are going to be useful. I'm going to create what's called an exploded assembly. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to stretch it out and create a view of it in a position that allows us to see what it looks like in a printable drawing, so like an instruction sheet. And to do that, I'm going to come over to the right hand side here, and I'm going to click the Exploded Views button. So the third menu down on the right is Exploded Views, and what this will allow us to do is move the parts, but only move them temporarily. And we can do this many different times in ways we want. So hit the Exploded View button. It says Editing Explode Step. I'm going to grab that panel for the light board. And you can see there's 3 arrows that pop up, a little trident. And I'm going to click in this case, I'm going to grab this center arrow. And we're going to drag on that center arrow, and it's going to show the part moving. And I can choose to do that in multiple directions, but that's what we're doing now. Once I've got that set up, I hit the green check, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to just deselect, and we're going to name this view by clicking the down arrow on the drop-down menu next to the view cube and choose Named Views. I have a named view, and we will call this, we'll just call it Explode 1. We'll call it P Explode 1. P Explode 1. And the plus sign, and that, and close it, and done, and done. And you see everything goes back. Right now, it might not look like much has happened, but what I've done is I've created a view that's named. I've created a named view of the object, which I can't get to reopen for me right now, but that's okay. I've created a view of the object, which I'm going to be able to use in my drawing. So now we'll go back to our drawing, which I should name. So right click, rename. Let's name that drawing. P-Sun, you name it whatever you want. Now we're going to add a sheet. So opening the Sheets panel on the left, there is the Insert New Sheet button in the top. And we're going to name this one Exploded View. And we're going to go ahead and add to that page the P sign. So we're going to hit the Insert button. We'll scroll on down to our assembly. So notice there's a whole bunch of stuff here, but we actually want an assembly because that exploded view was an assembly. So I'm going to go to my assemblies, and we want the P sign assembly. Which went where? Here's my P sign assembly. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . So probably under Assembly 2 Preview. Oh, I didn't name it. Look at that. I didn't name it. I screwed up. So it's Assembly 2 right now. It's a good thing I did that and caught that. So now you can see if you don't name it, it's going to show up as Assembly whatever. I'm going to rename mine. And that's a pretty common thing to have happen. And I'm going to close this and close this for the moment. So now that's got a name, Piece on Assembly. And when I go up to the Insert button and Insert from Assemblies, scroll on down, you can see Piece on Assembly. Now it doesn't have a preview. These others have a preview right now because they've already been created in the past. So the software hasn't finished creating that preview yet. So I'm going to select that Piece on Assembly. And when it pops in, it's going to pop in this standard view. So I want that exploded view. The drop down menu, with the piece out assembly, view orientation, P explode 1. So that was the view we created. And the scale, default position or explode position. We want that explode 1 that we created. And the view scale, let's make it big enough to fit on the page to try to use up as much space. If you don't see a scale to here that you like, you can just type in a new scale. So I'm going to go with 3/4. So bigger than half. There you go. View simplification auto. I like that. And once that's in there, I'm going to right click. I'm going to show hide the shaded view. All right. So there is my view. And whenever I come back, I can go back to my assembly. And we can continue to put things in. And that'll continue to update in our drawing. So for example, if I hide my light box and I decide I want to put this LED in position, I will fasten that into here. Don't worry about how long this takes or what's going on right now. I'm just going to show you that I'm doing it. I don't want that. That's where I want it. Now I've inserted that part. Go back to my drawing. Refresh the drawing and see it should update with that part. You can see my LED is back here because I didn't update the view, the name view. The name view had just these components. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this, put that LED somewhere in the middle. So go back to our assembly. Let me go ahead and go to my exploded views again, double click on explode 1. Let's move that guy. I'm editing the explode step. There you go. And I'll go back to my name views. And I'm going to review that view. And we're going to create that same, I'm going to name it again. P explode 1. All right, done. I go back to the drawing. I'll delete that and we'll put it back in with the new part. P sign lightboard. I want a insert assemblies, piece on assembly, explode 1, Explode 1, 3/4 scale, and there you go. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you go ahead and create exploded assemblies. Continue to experiment, create cool stuff, and as always, keep being awesome.